Good. Wow. Where do we begin?
I mean, how are you finding Comic Con?
It's awesome. You know, I've been to so many different Comic Cons, and this is my first time in London, and I have to say, everybody is wonderful. Everybody's so lovely and nice. I feel as though I should be talking like Obi Wan Kenobi all the time, you know. But no, it is really fantastic. I've had a great time. I just did my stage show downstairs in the main stage and had a great time doing that. And everybody's just been phenomenal. So yeah, thanks.
Talking about Obi Wan, you got to play him over an extended period of time. A little bit about what it meant, not just to take on a role like that, but to get to see him evolve the way he did over the series and the standalone films.
Sure. You know, it was 2001 when I first got to play Obi Wan for the micro series of the Clone Wars, and then throughout the video games and toys. And it was one of those things where your mind is kind of blown that you actually get to do this. When I first auditioned, I had no idea that it was going to be for a series. And so I get the call from my agent and say it's a cartoon. I'm like, my worlds collided. Star Wars and animation coming together for the first time. And it's weird because now we take it for granted that, of course, there's Star Wars animation, but back then there was nothing. So, except for that old Droids cartoon, yeah, which, well, I'll give Anthony a bad time for that later, but yeah, no. And the Ewoks, yes. But it has been a wonderful experience and really something that I'd never trade for anything, but also could never have imagined. The fact that I've got to voice more Obi-Wan than any other actor even, because over 100 episodes of Clone Wars, it's just kind of unprecedented for voice actors to get that kind of access to a character, especially one that is so cherished as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so I'm just humbled. I'm humbled. I pinch myself every day, and I'm thrilled to be involved in it. Now it's going on almost 18 years that I've been able to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yes, every time I say those words, I still get a little shiver down the spine.
No, you could get to sometimes like voice other characters in the feature films you did for Solo.
Yeah, I did actually several voices in the movie Solo. You'll have to try to figure them all out, and I will too. The way it works when we do that, we get a whole group of us together, and so you got myself, you got Sam Witwer, you've got David Collins, you've got Tom Kane, the voice of Yoda, as well as the announcer on Clone Wars. You know, I do my best Tom Kane impression. So we all get together in there with Matt Wood, who is, of course, the sound designer, Oscar-nominated sound designer for all of the Lucasfilm stuff. And we get to play for a day and watch the movie many, many months before it comes out, which is a very weird thing, because on one hand, it's fantastic, and on the other, you go, oh, now I got to see the movie like before it's finished. And you can't say anything, and then it also kind of takes some of the, you know, like the Star Wars fan in me is like, oh, I don't want to know yet, you know, because you don't get to see everything, but you see most of the movie. So yeah, there's a particular scene. I know there's like this guy, this big, large, bald guy that's he's rounding up all the droids and stuff in there, and he's got this big voice. Okay, yeah, bring him in over there, and that's me in there, and then Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, is in it. Now, Clint was not able to do his ADR because he wasn't available for them to do the stuff. So there's actually a scene where he gets grabbed by the face by the droid there, and he's coming out of the thing going, hey, let me tell you, and that's actually my voice because he wasn't available to do that. You know, and all those sounds. And then troopers and people throughout anytime there's a crowd scene or any of that stuff, we get to just watch it. We watch the scene once, and then we go back through and find voices and, you know, pick out different things. So aliens and creatures, and it's pretty great.
Because you're part of the Star Wars family, did you speak to Dave Filoni, and did you speak about maybe introducing your interpretation of Obi-Wan, or like suggestion of maybe storylines or ideas? Or was it just Dave and George Lucas's, this is A, B, C?
Yeah, it is. Well, and you never want to argue with George Lucas. I think that's the most phenomenal part about it. For those of you that probably know, you know, originally he came on and said, I'll be there for a little bit, and then I'm gonna let you guys take over. And then he got so involved in it. He loved it so much that he was there every day. And we would go up to the ranch, Lucasfilm, and it's the strangest thing in the world as a fan of Star Wars. to walk in a theater and have George Lucas sitting behind you watching Star Wars with you, that your voice is coming. I mean, it's like, again, I just kind of like, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And to hear him laugh at stuff you do or just comment on it, it's very surreal. So George and Dave really had the vision. However, anytime we were in the studio and doing things, Dave was always wonderful to say, put your own spin on this, and what do you think? You know, and if I'd say, well, it doesn't feel like the way Obi Wan would say that line, he'd go, well, let's talk about it for a minute. And we'd kind of go through it and come up with different ways that Obi Wan might say something. But for the most part, it was really George Lucas pushing that storyline through.
Hi, moving on to gaming now.
Yeah.
Ratchet. What's the project for Ratchet Clank? I'm a huge Ratchet Clank.
Me too.
So how was the whole journey and experience?
Again, you know, I'm kind of like the luckiest guy in the world, because here I get to do all these fantastic franchises and be involved in them, and I can walk down the street and nobody knows who I am, which is great. Except here, I get to be a rock star for a day. Ratchet is one of those characters that's so near and dear to my heart. For one, because it's my regular voice. Most of my work, I'm, you know, Fred Flintstone or Obi Wan Kenobi or Johnny Test, or, you know, if I'm doing Christopher Walken because he's not able to do his voice, I come in, I do it, you know, it's great. So for Ratchet, it's me. So when I read a script and I see it, it's like, how would James say that? And I never knew my father. I actually never met him. And Ratchet, of course, he's a bit of an orphan. So I related to him. Same with the character Tidus in Final Fantasy X. Both of those characters, I very much related to them on an emotional level. And when we got to do the movie of Ratchet and Clank, it was great because we got to kind of explore that a little bit more. But it has been, I think, 16 years or so that I've been doing Ratchet, and we've done, I believe, 16 or 17 titles, different games. He's had cameos in different games and stuff too. So he's just such a cool character, and he's beloved, and I'm seeing that today, and I'm just, again, kind of going, wow, I'm the luckiest guy in the world to do it. So I love being, anytime they call me up to do a Ratchet and Clank game, which I hope they call for another one soon. I think we're about due, you know?
You did really well, so.
Yeah, I hope so. But thank you very much, yeah. How did I get into it? Well, you know, I just performed my stage show downstairs at 11 o'clock called Talking to Myself, and in that I kind of give my story. But I'm kind of a rare breed in the world of voice acting, because I'm somebody that's from day one wanted to be a voice actor. Since I was 4 years old, when I realized that, oh, that's not Bugs Bunny talking, that's a man by the name of Mel Blanc doing a voice in a little room on a microphone, and I went, I want to do that. Although I went, I want to do that, because I was 4. And I pursued it ever since then. And so I got into radio when I was 17, and before that, a year before that, I got into stand-up comedy, and I wrote my own acts, and I did voices in my act. And then I got into radio, and that was a natural transition. And from radio, I just kept pushing and pushing, knocking on doors with my demos. And this was back, I'm dating myself here, but we would put them on cassette tapes, my demo tapes, and I'd hand them out to agents and hope that somebody would call. And I did this bit called 60 Voices in 60 Seconds. So I would just do, kind of like on my show here, if you saw my stage show, at the end of the show, I talk about how voices are connected. And so you could start with like, well, wait a second, you could do Michael J. Fox. Oh, Doc, well, wait a second, this is heavy. And you could take him, and if you drop him down just a little, it's Shia LaBeouf. It's pretty similar, right? And you raise him back up, and it's David Spade. And then you move it over here, and it's Christopher Walken. So you just, all these voices are connected. And I did this bit, 60 Voices in 60 Seconds, where I did the names of people. And that kind of got me a name as somebody that can do voices. And then from there, Obi Wan and Ratchet and Tidus. Tidus was really the first character, Final Fantasy X, that got me any recognition. So, but from there, the rest is history, as they say. Yeah.
Speaking of Tidus, he was the first voiced protagonist in a Final Fantasy. Was there any trepidation when you first found that out?
Oh, no pressure at all. No. Yeah, it was. There was a lot of pressure to do it because I knew the games. Final Fantasy VII certainly was one that I think still is a favorite of most people. And so the thought was, can they do as good as that? And then with voices. So I got the director, Jack Fletcher, and we were working on several projects together at the same studio. And I was doing a show called Atlantis, based on Atlantis, the Lost Empire, and I was replacing Michael J. Fox in that. And Jack was like, "Hey, you're a pretty good actor. I want you to read on this character. His name's Tidus." And I know everybody says Tidus, but they actually called him Tidus. And I had no idea that 3.5 months later, and a phone book size script, we would complete this game that's still, I mean, I am amazed here at the Comic Con how many fans of Final Fantasy there are still all these years later. So what a neat journey. I know I'm a broken record here, but really I am just the most grateful person in the world to do what I love. So yeah.
Is there a franchise that you really want to work in that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Man, I've been so lucky. I mean, even Back to the Future, which is one of my favorites, I got to play young Emmett Brown in the video game. So I'd done some of, obviously I'd done Michael J. Fox's doubling in the past, and Christopher Lloyd, and so it was Great Scott, Marty, how do you make him sound 17 years old? So I took him and I made him more in here, and his voice would crack, and I threw in a little Marty McFly in there, whoa, and so it was Dr. Emmett Brown at your service. And I was thrilled to be in that franchise. And then I was the Fallen in the Transformers, and so there's all these wonderful franchises. And Star Wars, it's just a little one. I haven't. I don't know. From the X-Men to DC, I'm the Flash. There's none that come to mind that I go, ooh, I'd love to do that. Because sometimes I'll do that and then I'll go, oh, I already did something in that. So yeah, I'm just really, I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Were you tempted to take anything from Lucasfilm? Because I know
Well, they have cameras everywhere, so you don't, Now, I could use the Jedi mind trick to get them to stop, but no. Yes, I was tempted, but no, I didn't take anything. Although, so at the ranch there, I don't know if you all know, the Lucasfilm Ranch is this beautiful place, and they have these, it's like a hotel. And each of the rooms is designed after somebody that George admires. So they have the Ansel Adams room, they have the Hitchcock room, they have all these rooms, the Kurosawa room. So when you stay there, they put you in, you get to see which room you're going to stay in, and so it's pretty amazing. And we, as a cast on Clone Wars, we would all get together and be there, and make. I would make pasta for everybody in the kitchen, and we'd all sit and just. It was a crazy time. Yeah. Very much a family, really. Yeah, we were all just a family on that show, so it was very great indeed. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
May the force be with you all.